Say hi, audience.
Hi, audience.
In late 1953, at the age of 10, Karen Chase was diagnosed with polio, a crippling disease caused by the polio virus that invades the spinal cord and brain, causing paralysis. She describes her ordeal in her memoir, Polio Boulevard, where she details years of treatment, including braces, wheelchairs, body casts, and a spinal fusion. Thankfully, she recovered, but her story is not unique. A quick Google search will yield many just like hers, though with the introduction of the polio vaccine in 1955 and the inoculation of youth in the years that followed, the reported cases in the United States as of 2016 were 0, proving its efficacy. Polio is just one among many debilitating and deadly diseases that a vaccine has been developed against. So this leads to the question, should vaccinations be mandatory for all children in the United States? According to an article published by the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America, vaccines are proven to reduce life-threatening illnesses, subsequent disability, and even death when comparing data from the 20th century to present. Choosing to not follow the recommended vaccination schedule established by the Centers for Disease Control is unsafe because of the potential for unnecessary preventable illness in healthy children and also in those who are unable to be vaccinated. Therefore, vaccines should be mandatory for children in the United States. Vaccines have developed over time through hundreds of years, developing what they are today. The first vaccine was developed by Edward Jenner for use against smallpox in 1796, followed by many more over the next several centuries. Understanding how vaccines work is essential to understanding why they're successful. Vaccines allow the body to use its own immune system to develop antibodies when it detects a foreign substance, such as the flu virus, and stores that information for future use. When the body is exposed to the flu virus at another time, the immune system jumps into action and recognizes the foreign body, eradicating it. Knowing how the body takes a foreign substance and turns it into an antibody is the first step to understanding vaccines. Vaccines are made of weakened forms of a specific pathogen. Then, when introduced into the body, the immune system does the same thing it would if exposed naturally, which is by developing antibodies and memory banks of the foreign substances for later use. Attenuation, or a reduced strength of a virus, is utilized when generating many vaccines. According to Ross Fetterman, an immunobiology graduate, at Yale, this means that it renders the pathogens incapable of inducing an infection while still being sufficiently intact for our immune systems to recognize them as foreign. In other words, the pathogens are just strong enough to trick the body into thinking it's being invaded, allowing it to create and store antibodies against that specific pathogen, thus creating immunity. The skepticism surrounding vaccines has been ongoing for centuries, however, gained steam in 1998 when a study conducted by Dr. Andrew Wakefield and 12 of his colleagues was published by The Lancet, a peer-reviewed medical journal. This study indicated that the measles, mumps, and rubella, the MMR, vaccine was linked to autism. The study was found to be inaccurate and retracted 12 years after it was published, but the damage was done, and many parents were unconvinced of vaccine efficacy, with many choosing to not vaccinate their children. The problem with choosing to opt out of vaccination is that it reduces the effectiveness of herd immunity, also known as community immunity. Herd immunity refers to the indirect protection of unvaccinated persons. In other words, when a large group of people are vaccinated and immune to a disease, those that can't receive the vaccine are protected. Dr. Saad Omer, a global health researcher at Emory University in Atlanta, states, when enough people are vaccinated, the entire community gains protection from the disease. There are reasons for not vaccinating, however. Some vaccines cannot be given to children under a certain age, allowing these individuals exposed to illness. For instance, according to the CDC, the vaccine for pertussis, a highly contagious, often deadly disease, cannot be given to anyone younger than 2 months of age, leaving them susceptible, of contracting the illness if they are exposed. The same can be said for people with suppressed immune systems, such as HIV and AIDS, cancer patients, or those who can't receive the vaccine due to past allergic reactions. Again, if the majority of the community is vaccinated and immune, that protects the bulk of those who cannot receive the vaccine. In recent years, the controversy surrounding vaccines has made its way to mainstream media, with many blogs, chat rooms, forums, and other social media platforms dedicated to those that choose to not vaccinate. There's actually a hashtag on Twitter called anti-vax, which allows those against vaccination to post their views and other unfounded information to the world, although there are many people posting contradicting viewpoints. Equally, there are just as many dedicated to other sides of the argument, with TV shows, such as House or Law & Order, that have aired episodes about vaccination and its importance, not to mention the science that backs up their ideals. The consideration on whether to vaccinate or not is everywhere. Either you're for it or against it. However, as indicated previously, the science behind vaccines has been confirmed. Vaccines are proven to reduce life-threatening illnesses, subsequent profound disability, and even death. Choosing to not follow the recommended vaccination schedule established by the Centers for Disease Control is dangerous because of the potential for unnecessary, preventable illnesses in healthy children and also in those who are unable to be vaccinated. Therefore, vaccines should be mandatory for children in the United States. The fact that this country allows the choice to not vaccinate is proof of the privileges and freedoms offered that many other countries can only dream about. In short, while vaccines have risks, those risks are better than serious injury or death. Vaccinating all children is good for the well-being of everyone, not only in the United States, but throughout the world.